Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in from here in the broadcast booth in Charlottesville. I'm Neil LeCan, here to take you through the action of what promises to be a turning point in either of these teams' seasons, no matter who comes out on top this afternoon. For Air Force, they traveled to Duke at the beginning of the season, earned a critical ACC and at the time top 10 win over the Blue Devils. Virginia, on the other hand, suffering a loss here last weekend against Ivy League opponent Princeton. They go back on the road to the Ivy League starting next week. That's next Sunday against Brown in Providence, Rhode Island. Virginia has had 5 straight games at home here in Klockner Stadium, so the first road stretch for them is coming up for 2020. Air Force, on the other hand, has been on the road a lot, coming all the way out here from Colorado Springs, Colorado in the Mountain West. They join us in the Virginia Piedmont for what is an exciting matchup between two teams that are deep in the lacrosse season. Virginia, ranked number 6 in the nation, are the defending national champions, beating Yale. Air Force received votes in this week's Inside Lacrosse poll, also have been ranked in prior polls. So we've got a matchup that has history, it has tradition, and it has excitement here. And what more could you ask for on a sunny Sunday of collegiate lacrosse? Our coaches this afternoon, Lars Tiffany for Virginia, the national championship winner, and Bill Wilson on the other side for Air Force, both former Ivy League coaches. Lars Tiffany at Brown, Bill Wilson at Dartmouth. Getting ready for the face-off here now. Peter LaSala, the excellent face-off man for Virginia, is going to attempt to control it here, but looking for the ground ball now is Virginia, and they pick it up. That's Jared Connors. And Connors with a long stick will get us off and running here. Just a couple minutes past the hour from Charlottesville, Virginia. Virginia has struggled against zone defenses this season. They've struggled mightily in that regard, facing off against Loyola to open the season, who switched to a zone in the second half of their game. Then Lehigh, who gave them struggles with the zone, as well as Princeton. Now a shot taken. That was Peyton Cormier, rifled it past the pipe there. It'll stay with Virginia as Matt Moore goes to collect. Here comes Moore on a familiar inside move, but loses the ball, and it's picked up by Air Force. The Falcons are not to be trifled with, and the national champions would do well not to underestimate the Falcons today. Not only have they beaten Duke so far this season, but they have one of the best young freshmen in the country on their roster. That's Brandon Dodd, the freshman from Logan, Utah. You'll see him in action today. Air Force now setting up an attack. Their first offensive possession, Matthew O'Rourke. One of several Air Force players from back east. He's from Georgia. Air Force taking the trip back here for just the one-game stand at Charlottesville. Taking some time to set up their offense. Only 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Working hard back in the hands of O'Rourke now. This Virginia defense not giving him a lot of shooting lanes early here. And a shot rifled past. It will be with Air Force for another 4 seconds, but an imminent shot clock violation looking to come in here. That was Jake Thornley on the shot pass, and now possession simply given back up to Virginia. 80-second shot clock in college lacrosse. For those of you who are tuning in to one of your first lacrosse broadcasts, we're delighted to have you. And also 20 seconds to clear the ball out of your own half. So Virginia got about 5 left to get across that midline. And Kaloji sends it over to Chris Merle, and that's going to get it done for the Cavaliers. Virginia on Tuesday notched their 150th win in this building. Is now a shot and a goal. Peter Garneau early for Virginia. Give them 3 minutes and they will take a goal from you. Virginia on the board 1-0 as Peter Garneau gets another. And that shot rifled straight through, and host, the goalie for Air Force, couldn't get his stick on it. Attacking the left side of the goal there was Garneau. And it pays dividends for him and for Virginia early. 4 goals already on the season, now make it 5 for the freshman from Haverford, Pennsylvania. Under Armour All-American out of high school, and now taking his talents here to Charlottesville and right in front of your eyes today here on ACC Network Extra. Clean face-off win for Petey LaSalla. One of the best face-off men in the country. That's his 56th win out of 93 attempts on the season. Michael Kraus going to make some strategic moves here. Virginia, they can play fast, undoubtedly, but LaSalla and Kraus combined to slow it down this time. Dox Aiken now controlling at the top for Virginia. Looking for a shot. Bounces off the dirt in the crease, and Matt Moore will once again go back to collect. Aiken can be dangerous from distance. All-time leading midfielder goal scorer for Virginia and leads the country among midfielders in goals scored. Matt Moore now looking for a move. Kraus straights into the hands and into the stick of Host there. Braden Host, the goalkeeper for Air Force, a Coloradan, so stayed in state for his time at the Air Force Academy, but certainly did not stay in the crease there. As now a shot behind for Virginia, potential opportunity. Dodd goes over, and a miss by Air Force. What a play, though, as Dodd relayed the ball to Ryan Lamb, the midfielder from Virginia, playing for Air Force and returning to his home Commonwealth for today. And an excellent opportunity there, and it's that kind of creativity that's going to give Air Force the chance for an upset today. So now they look to set up a second effort. Driving inside now. Air Force looking for something here. Back to Dodd. It's Brendan Kraus on the ball now. No relation, of course, to Michael Kraus of Virginia. And he's going to look for a shot. It rifles past the left pipe. Alex Rowe didn't even need to get his stick on it, but certainly showed you his reflexes are there early today. And he's going to be tested. Braden Dodd, Quincy Peen, who currently has the ball for Air Force. These gentlemen have cut their way through ACC opponents, non-conference opponents of all kinds, and they're looking to make their way into SoCon play as well pretty soon here, as now the ball is sent back, and just like in basketball, that's sort of a backcourt violation style thing, is now Virginia making a quick run. Jared Connors, and a save for Braden Host, saves what would have been a quick strike goal for goal number 2. Now Brendan Kraus bringing it back the other way. Strong relay by Air Force. Thornley. Dodd looking to cut around Kyle Kaloji, the best of the defenders at Virginia this season. Rifles a pass across, and now an attempt for a shot and a goal for the Falcons, but a flag has been thrown. We will wait to see the decision there, but for the moment, Trey Lervick, the senior attack for Air Force, has placed the ball past the stick of Alex Rode and into the goal. So we wait the call from the officials here in Klockner Stadium. Our referee, Brian Abbott, today. And it is going to be a clean goal for Trey Lervik. You can see it again here, makes the move, and just sort of a bounce pass into the goal there off the dirt. Trey Lervik staking a claim for Air Force, evening this thing up. And now we're back to the face-off center here as it appears the flag amounted to no consequence. Air Force able to get possession, going back on the attack, looking for the lead. Lervik 8 goals, 5 assists, and 7 ground balls this season. He led the team in goal scoring last year, 36 goals for the now senior from Woodbury, Minnesota. So no surprise, Trey Lervik able to get on the scoreboard here for Air Force. Now an attempt coming through, but the ball checked away from Matthew O'Rourke there, and now sort of in the hands of Virginia. There's some struggle. Teo Dahl sort of pushed out there for a moment. Is now Virginia going to come away with it? Air Force with great movement early here. Virginia still threatening, as they always are able to do. Last season, they managed to win quite a few games down heading into the fourth quarter. Famously, of course, semifinal matchup in the NCAA tournament against Duke, which was won in overtime. Now Virginia moving inside, looking for something. Well defended there by O'Rourke, though, and a shot rifled past and well over the pipe. Virginia not afraid to take some distant shots today. That was Mitch Gordon. Jeff Connor looking for a move inside. Sophomore from Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Fellow Pennsylvanian Michael Krause goes around, takes a shot, and Virginia strikes again. There is not enough praise that broadcasters can place on that man, Michael Krause. Make that his 12th goal on the season. And a timeout as well. As we take a slight break here, Virginia going to collect themselves, as is Air Force. Now Jeff Connor here is going to send it over to Michael Krause, and then this inside move is a thing of beauty. Slides right around the defenseman and then is able to shoot into the far corner of the goal. Michael Krause showing you his true prowess as a player. Michael Krause, a senior from Canaan, Connecticut, captain of this team. Very recently, in the second game of the season against Lehigh, he was the 4th UVA player to achieve 100 goals and 100 assists. So he's now the 4th member of a club that includes some very notable members. Just a testament to the 4th year, as they see here on the grounds of Mr. Jefferson's University, and his commitment to this team over the past few years. Now, Virginia Back to the face-off X now as Air Force looking to respond here. And a strong face-off by the Falcons. Gets it in the hands of now Kraus for Air Force. Pardon, that was Cole Greinberg there for the Falcons. And coming from the left side as they try to set up with some substitutions. Their ideal offensive personnel to try to respond now. Over half the first quarter has elapsed, and one of the lower scoring openings for Virginia so far this year. Strong team driving by Air Force there with August Johnson and Quincy Peen collaborating on that one, but now it's Dodd at the top, under 30 to shoot. And the ball checked away from Dodd. That's Kyle Kaloji down there. Some of the luminaries around this program here at Virginia are very impressed with Kaloji and his potential. And while, unfortunately, as announcers, we don't get to talk about defensemen quite as much as we would like to, Kyle Kaloji is worth quite the mention. As now Virginia barely clearing the ball over. Some strong ride by Air Force there, as now Matt Moore's going to have it in his hands. They're going to try to set things up as well. Kaloji, 10 ground balls coming into today, 33 of them last season. So he's, again, we tend to focus in lacrosse on offensive stats and offensive performance, but Kyle Kaloji, an essential figure. Dox Aiken shot well into the goalie stick of Brayton Host there. Air Force brings on Tommy Hellman to try to help him out here on the offensive side. Been slow to shoot, which is more of a testament, I think, to Virginia's defense than it is to Air Force and their inability to get something done. They've certainly shown an ability to score in their actions so far. 2 losses on the year for Air Force. One of them coming last Saturday, which joins Virginia's loss last Saturday as well. That was against Cleveland State. And Air Force able to intercept the attempt by Rode here, and now here goes the Air Force Falcons trying to get things done. Some strong checking though. An intense, intense battle going on down there for Virginia and Air Force. That was John Fox on the checks. And he's able to get possession back, so some quick turnovers there on both sides. Ethan Grandolfo was the one for Air Force who had the ball back there, and he's one of the promising freshmen I was telling you about at the top of the broadcast from Wilton, Connecticut, but couldn't hold on against John Fox. A shot and a goal for Virginia. The Cavaliers extend their lead here as the first quarter ticks down under 4 minutes. That's Michael Biankowski for Virginia, freshman from Islip, New York, and the old broadcaster jinx works against Air Force there. As I'm talking about promising Air Force freshman, it's a promising Virginia freshman who gives us a goal. Biankowski now adds his 3rd goal to his resume. Scored against High Point on Tuesday, and what was really quite a close game, and a lot of people expected it to not be as close as it was. Going into the final couple minutes, it was essentially tied between High Point and Virginia. Strong face-off control there by Petey LaSala. Virginia doing better clearing, but they've had some troubles with that. If Air Force has a strength so far this game, it has been that ride that has stifled Virginia a couple times. You saw the ball sort of intercepted on that last clear attempt by Alex Rode. John Fox working on that side. Far side of the field by the hill is now coming inside is Kraus, takes a shot, saved by Host. At far side of Klockner Stadium, home to many of the fans on a sunny and, dare I say, spring-like March 1st here in Charlottesville. Some more stick checking, and a lacrosse stick was on the ground for a moment there. Virginia able to gain possession from the Falcons, and now they come quick. Matt Moore. Virginia subs off Jared Connors there, give him a little bit of a break. Long stick plays a central role in Virginia's ability to control in the middle of the field. Now Peyton Cormier. On a tough pass there to Michael Kraus, ends up getting picked up by Air Force, and it's going the other way. Streaking down the field now is Shad Bruce. Air Force going to settle things in, but he was going for it. The freshman from Del Mar, California, tasted his first goal, at least for a moment there, against the defending champs. And we got a call now against Air Force. Apparently an offside call, as Matt Moore now looking to capitalize here very quickly. Ian Laviano getting checked, losing the ball there in the middle. Now a fight for it in the crease. Host will come away with it, though. Braden Host recording 10.41 goals against average and 69 saves coming into today. One of the great goalkeepers in the SoCon, and Virginia actually plays quite a few games against the SoCon throughout the season. And of course, the high point came on Tuesday here in Klockner, and then right before the tournament season really gets started in collegiate lacrosse, Virginia will play VMI in an in-Commonwealth matchup. Don on the ball for the Falcons. Air Force looking to put something together. Brandon Dodge shot, and it's over. The goal there, Rode had an eye on it, didn't raise a stick, knew it was going over, but a great shot. And you got to take those attempts if you're Dodd. That will end the first quarter for us here in Klockner Stadium. Virginia leading 3-1, and it has not been as tight as the scoreline. We're back in Charlottesville, Virginia for a battle between Virginia and Air Force here in collegiate lacrosse, and it has been quite an engagement thus far between these two teams. 3-1 the score here early in the second quarter. Virginia's going to gain possession off the face-off here and have an opportunity to extend this lead. But Air Force defensively has been very strong. 3 goals in the first quarter for Virginia, who had some explosive first quarters throughout this season thus far. They can continue to hold Virginia down. That'll be important for Air Force as they try to get things going on the other side of the field for them. Peyton Cormier here lays it off to Kraus. Able to corral it. Michael Kraus driving inside back to Cormier. And a shot rifled through for Ian Laviano. Virginia extends the lead further. The junior from Laurel Hollow, New York, has added his 8th goal of the season, and in what style it was. Pass from Kraus to Cormier and then straight over. And it was as if he was channeling the energy of Cormier's pass straight in. It was the most beautiful definition of an assist for Cormier you could have ever seen. But Ian Laviano, what a shot and what a goal. Opened things up in the second quarter strong for Virginia. Laviano hasn't been scoring at the same clip as last year thus far, but he did lead the ACC in scoring with 51 goals last season. Virginia able to force the turnover here. Danny Parker in the midfield. Dynamic duo you see now between Peter Garneau and Peyton Cormier, two of the younger members of this team who have really contributed so far this season and will continue to heading into play in the ACC. Now Jeff Connor moving inside, off the stick there of the Air Force defenseman, and it's sent out. The official signals it stays with Virginia. Daniel Pagano, the long stick midfielder for Air Force, was able to sort of just force the pass into his stick instead of Krause's. Now Michael Krause moves inside. Laviano again, and another goal. Ian Laviano make it 9 for the young man today. 5-1 Virginia. And then once again, Krause starting the action. Connor with the assist, and Laviano lays it in. Laviano also has himself 3 assists on the season, so make it 12 points in the books for 2020 for the junior attackman Ian Laviano. Midfielders crashing the face-off there as battle for it continues. LaSala finally able to control it. Now he's moving inside, looking for a chance potentially, but sends it to the dismay of Klockner Stadium, really. Sent it all the way back across the field. An attempted pass for Matt Moore. Just sort of a collective sigh. They wanted LaSala to shoot that one, certainly the faithful here in Charlottesville. And a timeout called by Air Force here. Coach Wilson going to look to talk about some things as his team has given up a couple of goals to open up the second quarter. Virginia is able to really explosively just turn things on as a team, and Air Force did a great job containing that in the first quarter, but now they're starting to erode just a little bit against this offensive onslaught by Laviano and Krause and Biankowski and Peter Garneau, who've made their way into the score sheet today. But Air Force also comes into this with some great talent of their own. I mentioned Don and others on that team. And that is going to be the matchup that really, I think, defines the second quarter as we move forward. Is on the other end. Air Force has proven they can be a defensive team, and you're going to give up goals like that to Ian Laviano. I mean, this is a talented attack for Virginia, so you figure you're going to give up something. This is the number 6 team in the country, but can you match that on the other end? Had good defensive moments if you're Air Force. Ian Laviano, you see here, has had a great day and some great moments as well. His first goal, and these coming within a minute of each other, laid it in straight up off the assist by Cormier, and yet another one shot in there from the right side. So Virginia looking to pour it on right now, really. Continue the pressure, continue the ride, make sure to keep causing these turnovers. Air Force has turned the ball over 7 times so far this game, 6 for Virginia. There's been a lot of fighting on the ground for both of these teams. But really, the stat defining the game right now is the shot advantage for Virginia. They've just been more active on the other side. 11 shots for the Cavaliers to 6 for the Falcons. 7 of those for the Cavaliers have been on goal. Now, Host has been called upon to do a lot of saving today, and he has done that. But Air Force now needs to clear this thing, get back in business, and start making a dent on the other side. And a attempt to pass it all the way through. That worked for them in the first quarter, but it does not here as Grindberg is unable to control there. Virginia, after a couple goals in 3 minutes, going to slow things down a little bit. See Michael Biankowski, the freshman goal scorer, currently trying to work inside now. Aiken. And Aiken loses the ball there. A lot of Air Force defensemen around him and scuffle for it. And it's going to go to Air Force. Falcons going to get the possession back. Strong checking by the Air Force defense there. And that's what they had, and that's what Bill Wilson was probably trying to get back into his team on the sidelines there in the timeout, was that spirit of defense and the chaos they created for Virginia that held them to 3 goals in the first quarter. Jake Thornley defended by Chris Merle now. And a flag thrown by the official on the near side. Thornley trying to work inside and checked there by Chris Merle. A second flag thrown by that same official as play continues. Now Dodd on it, trying to work his way past Kaloji, who's contained the promising freshman all day so far. Alex Rode able to get the ground ball, and now we'll get the call. And it will appear from preliminary action here that there will be a penalty time served by Chris Merle of Virginia, who takes a knee there, and actually both of them. Alex Rode has also been sent, so the second flag assessed on Alex Rode, the first on Chris Merle. That means the Virginia goalie is out for this possession. So Air Force, if you're the Falcons right now, you're looking at one of the best goalkeepers in the country, kneeling in the penalty area right now. He's got a 1-minute penalty, and now Air Force in a man-up situation. You got to capitalize here for the Falcons. Air Force got a minute to work with. Slowly working inside. Dodd comes over. Shot attempt was thought of, certainly, and a shot taken. The Falcons get on the board once again. Air Force capitalizes on the man up, just like they needed to, and there it is, 5-2. See, a shot attempt was thought of there by August Johnson, but he lays it off instead to Lervik, and Lervik gets the second goal of the day for Air Force, and the second goal of the day for him. Trey Lervik, team leader in goals and assists last year, scores his 10th of the season for Air Force, and an essential one here with 10 to go in the second quarter to keep Air Force competitive and keep Virginia on the sideline thinking about, is this going to be another close game? Is this another High Point? Is this another Princeton? And that's what you got to keep Virginia guessing about right now, as Air Force wins the face-off here via a call by the official. Pass sent rifling there and finally collected by Don on the far side. Wasn't intended for him. Seen Trey Lervik now for Air Force. That's number 20 in blue today. Has contributed both goals for the Falcons. As Kaloji for Virginia, the defenseman, has really not allowed Dodd in any way to get shots or even clean looks at the goal. Brandon Dodd one of the leaders in scoring for Air Force, is now coming around again for another attempt. Was Ethan Grandolfo. It's corralled by Rode and the defenseman, so one shot over the pipe, one too close in and corralled by Rode. But that kind of offensive exercise for Air Force is important, if only to keep Virginia from being in your half of the field. Peyton Cormier. Sort of a screen set up by Kraus there, and Cormier takes a shot right under the pipe, and Virginia scores again. Peyton Cormier, the birthday boy, gets it done for the Cavaliers. Working very hard against the Air Force defense, just makes a nice move. Kraus assists him there, lays it right in. Peyton Cormier, and it is indeed the young man's birthday, as we learned before the game. Peyton Cormier has been one of the great contributors to Virginia so far this season. Redshirt freshman who sat out last year after an injury, but now adds his 10th goal of the season, already has 4 assists as well. He was ranked the number 6 attackman in the country coming out of high school. And while Virginia wisely got him some rest and recovery from that injury last season, that is now paying dividends for the Cavaliers. They go up 6-2. Long pass well over the Virginia defense, and there's Brandon Dodd. Dodd and Lervik have been really the anchors of the Air Force attack ever since that 14-13 win in Durham, North Carolina, which announced to the world that Air Force was for real this year as a lacrosse team. Yes, we play west of the Mississippi, they said, but we can hang with the ACC, we can hang with anybody. And they've shown some of that same fire today against the defending champs. Thornley moving inside now. Air Force looking for the shooting lanes that Virginia has denied them most of the day. Pass to Lervik, the goal scorer. Back inside now, and a shot taken just over the left corner of the goal. Tommy Hellman made the attempt for Air Force. Only 2 seconds on the shot clock now, and they're just going to throw it out, take the shot clock violation, and Virginia will regain possession. Hellman, the midfielder for Air Force, been a contributor this year, a goal and 2 assists. 2-time state champion in high school in Connecticut. Also home to Michael Kraus of Virginia. Biankowski now, goal scorer in the first quarter, tries to set things up for the Cavaliers. He makes a move, lays it off to Moore. Michael Kraus shot saved by Host, and a critical save indeed. After giving up 3 goals so far in the quarter, already with just under 7 to play, Host comes up big for Air Force. He had a 58% save percentage heading into today, and he has been an anchor back there, as Rode is on the other side for Virginia. And the ball finally relayed to Quincy Peen, who's another man on the Air Force roster that's simply been quiet today so far. 8 goals and 1 assist on the year. One of the senior leaders of this team. August Johnson, back to Lervik. Quincy Peen working hard to try to get himself in this one, and checked by John Fox, and it's out of his stick. Picked up again by Johnson, flag on the field, and now a shot and a goal for Air Force if it stands. Coach Tiffany of Virginia coming over to talk to the official, but it appears it's going to count on the board. Trip of August Johnson is the call, and ball, of course, relayed to Ethan Grandolfo, the goal scorer who just laid it right into the right side of the cage. Not just the third goal on the day for the Falcons. Grandolfo, one of those freshmen, his father and his aunt played lacrosse at Cornell, and he made his way to the Air Force Academy.
A personal foul will get Air Force a man advantage for 1 minute.
John Fox is going to have a minute penalty now as well on the foul he committed to send August Johnson, the sophomore native of Colorado Springs himself, as a midfielder to the ground there. So Ethan Grandolfo cutting the deficit to 3 for Air Force and giving them a little life, and now a man up. Virginia, though, coming away with the face-off, and it's critical for them, man down situation, to hold on to this ball for the next 48 seconds. A little bit of an errant pass there, and control lost, and the ball now goes to Air Force. And Coach Tiffany of Virginia on the sidelines, simply confused over the decision to pass the ball and the mistake that was made, because now Air Force has that man advantage. They've got offensive possession for 35 seconds. There's Grandolfo, the goal scorer. August Johnson. Under 10 to go for Air Force with the man advantage. And Virginia's man is running back onto the field, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. Grandolfo takes a shot, and it's off the stick of Rode. Virginia survives the man up despite the turnover, and now they're back in business as Teo Dole makes his way down the near side of the field. Peyton Cormier working hard, but now he's got a couple of Air Force guys on him. Dox Aiken thought about a shot as well. Aiken still working, now moves it over to Kraus. Kraus to Peter Garneau, lays it right into the right corner, and a goal for Virginia. Patient offense there for the Cavaliers, and Peter Garneau lays it right in past Braden Host and gets Virginia up once again by 4. Right into the top right corner, hit the pipe on its way in as well. You saw it bounce in the goal, in the cage itself. Peter Garneau gets his second of the day for Virginia. Virginia looking to close out. We're now under 4 left in the half. We need a little face-off reset here. Garneau's 6th goal of the season. Just scored there for Virginia. And Virginia now able to gain possession again. The shot advantage against Air Force evened a little bit as they seem to be on a run there with a couple of straight goals, but now Garneau settling things back down for the Cavaliers and continuing to keep them in strong order and command of this game. Matt Moore moves inside. Possible shot. Host thought he was going, but passed it behind. Michael Kraus. And back to the goal scorer, Garno. Shot taken by Connor, and it's in. A lower shot. And Jeff Connor able to score for Virginia. The second in as many minutes for the Cavaliers, as Jeff Connor finds the opening in the cage and gets it past Host there for Virginia's 8th goal of the day and his first of the season. Jeff Connor, a midfielder, sophomore from Wallingford, Pennsylvania, has 4 assists on the year, but that his first goal of the season here in 2020. Really rose to prominence in the NCAA tournament for Virginia last season. 4 essential assists in the 2019 tournament were critical to Virginia's ability to win a championship. Is now timeout called by Virginia. Lars Tiffany pointing at the field as if he wants to talk about something, certainly, and the official responding to that. So Virginia able to get a couple goals back here as Air Force took a few from them on a couple of man-up opportunities. And 8-3 the score now as Coach Lars Tiffany, national championship winning in his 4th season here in Virginia, will have an opportunity to talk over some things with his team and get a strong 3 minutes to close this one out for the Cavaliers. Been a couple of close games, even the early wins on the season for Virginia. Loyola and Lehigh in successive weeks here at Klockner Stadium were under 5-goal victories for Virginia. You then move on to the Princeton game, which was a tight one as well, obviously, on the other direction, with Princeton getting the win, and then High Point was close. So it was mentioned before the game, a lot of these Virginia staff members and players and coaches just want to see a strong, controlled, full game of comfort for them here in the stands and down on the field, where they feel they're in control of the game for a full 60 minutes. And this so far is the closest Virginia has come to that this season, leading 8-3 near the end of the half. Air Force on the other side, a trip out to Charlottesville, Virginia from Colorado Springs. That's a long flight. I fly back east and west quite often. I know that you want to be coming for a reason. You want to earn a win here in Charlottesville if you're coming out all this way. And Air Force is very much still in this game. We've seen Virginia come back from things like this. We've also seen Air Force come back from an onslaught of early goals at Duke to open the season on February 1st. So by no means does Air Force give up. Certainly young men who are willing to make a tremendous sacrifice of self for service to our nation. And they are going to be fighting this one all the way through. Dox Aiken now sends it over to Matt Moore. Moore looking inside, and it's off the pipe. Try to get a shot off there, and a good move. And now a call against Virginia. The official points to an Air Force possession. Now Virginia fans are thinking that hit the pipe, it rolled out of bounds, it should be ours. Just like any other shot attempt that misses, but the official feeling that Matt Moore or some other Virginia player made contact with the ball at some point there potentially. Displeasure from the crowd here at Klockner, but Trey Lervick and Brandon Dodd down there are perfectly comfortable with this call as they attempt to get set up here. Taking under 2 minutes to go in the half to try to cut this deficit to a manageable 4 or potentially even 3 heading into the locker room. Be a huge boost to the Air Force efforts. This is the second all-time meeting between Virginia and Air Force. A win for the Falcons was the result back in 2004 at the University of Denver on a neutral site. A shot taken, simply bounced off of John Fox there, it looked like. that meeting at the University of Denver, the only one between these two schools thus far. It was also the first Virginia trip out west for a game. Not a lot of lacrosse teams out there. As now Dodd attempted to take a shot. It was checked by Kaloji there, and the ball loose in the crease. Awarded back to Virginia. So just the remarkable nature of Air Force's program in that respect, being in Colorado, the lacrosse intelligentsia, as it were, out here on the East Coast. And to maintain a program, fly back through these SoCon matchups, through these non-conference, playing the best teams in the country, in the ACC. Tremendous respect held around the lacrosse community for Air Force and their program. To be not just a team in the West, but also a ranked team in the West, and one that has done very well. Saved by Host there on the shot by Michael Kraus. And a timeout now taken again by Coach Tiffany. And some confusion over that because Virginia had possession. The crowd Virginia now set up. Coach Tiffany talked through a play with them, and now Doc Aiken looking to execute it. Just over 10 seconds to go here. Moving inside is Matt Moore. Falls down, and Air Force looks like they're able to get the ball. Host has it, and he's going to hold on to it to close out the half. Virginia with a strong second quarter, adding 5 goals and commanding possession over Air Force. The Falcons able to get a couple there at the end, or the beginning of the half, excuse me, the beginning of the quarter, to narrow things just a little bit, but it's still a 5-goal deficit for the Falcons. Going to be a lot to overcome heading into the second quarter. Virginia, a couple of great goals by Ian Laviano to start things off for them, and then added to by Garno and others. Jeff Connor, Virginia on top 8-3 heading into the second half.
Stick around after today's game to get your poster signed by the Who. The men's lacrosse team will be signing autographs on the concourse near the pillars shortly after the conclusion of today's game.
On the other end, keeping Virginia contained to 8 points, and those face-off wins for Virginia, keeping them in control and in possession. Edie LaSala in the X for Virginia, playing a central role for them. We're set for a great second half here between Virginia and Air Force, two teams who are eager to face each other for the first time in 16 seasons. And they're back in action here from Klockner Stadium. exciting first half here from Charlottesville. We're looking forward to another one. Thanks for joining us on ACC Network Extra. As the familiar Petey LaSala in the center here tries to get things started off, but it's Air Force that comes away with it this time. Griffin Peen, the face-off man for the Falcons, wins the 5th face-off of the game for Air Force, and winning face-offs would be a great start to a comeback in the second half for the Falcons, who, as you see, opened this one down 5 after a 5-goal second quarter by the Cavaliers. An offensive explosion in the beginning of that quarter by Ian Laviano, and then continuing through with the goals of Peter Garno and Jeff Connor. Now Air Force looking to get things started with a statement here. Goal-scoring Grandolfo gets it checked away from him by Chris Merle, and it's in the hands now of Virginia. Kyle Kaloji now sends it back to Merle. Virginia, a strong mix of fast and slow-paced offense in the first half. There are times when they slow it down, as they're doing right now, and times when they were able to come off that face-off X with a win and control and make a strong statement. Peyton Cormier. He moves inside, has the edge on the defender, shoots it and scores. Peyton Cormier, second of the day for the freshman from Ontario, Canada. Virginia up 9-3 with only a minute and a half gone here in the first half, as Peyton Cormier able to get inside of his defender there and just ran right past him, getting the shot by Braden Host, skipped onto the ground and in. And Peyton Cormier celebrating his birthday here with his team today and celebrating 2 goals, which mark now his 11th on the season. Virginia in strong order here today and in control as we move into the second half. Peyton Cormier's efforts have been, among others, the important ones today, as now Air Force able to control once again. These face-off wins are super important for Air Force. Ryan Lynch collecting that face-off, the senior from Ellicott City, Maryland. And Air Force now needs to turn these face-off wins into articulable expressions of offensive firepower on the other side for them to climb their way back into this game. Certainly have the potential to do so. Strong freshman, you see one running on right there, Ethan Grandolfo. Thornley works his way past a defenseman. And it's just been back and forth on the outside as Air Force tries to pick its way through a very strong Virginia man defense. And now Jake Thornley comes through. He takes a shot, and it's off the body of Alex Rode. Unable to get his stick down there, but Alex Rode, with it looked like his leg, able to deflect the ball. Jake Thornley's shot unsuccessful. Virginia quick counter, though. Matt Moore thought about uncorking a shot there, but Thornley, the man who shot for Air Force, is on him and now switches over to Garno. Peter Garno controlling the ball now, had a couple of essential goals in the first half for Virginia. One of the main reasons that the score stands as it is, the dynamic duo of freshmen on this team, Peter Garno and Peyton Cormier, along with, of course, senior talent in the likes of Michael Kraus, just had the ball. Ian Laviano now takes a shot. Braden Host able to collect once again, extending his saves margin. Air Force barely able to get the clear there. Got to clear it in 20 seconds of an 80-second shot clock. The clock very nearly showed 60 as Air Force came across the midline. Falcons taking their third trip down to the offensive half. In this second half of the game today is now Don. Attempts to get a shot in. Brandon Don, one of the most productive for Air Force, but has been silenced today by the likes of Kyle Kaloji. Flag flying onto the field now. Some stick checking, some hard finding there as Grandolfo able to come away with the ball. Indicate a penalty on Virginia in that case. We're going to play this thing out though. Pass sent through, attempting to set up a strong shot by Mike Matheson. Now the penalty going to be assessed here. And it's going to be time in the penalty box for Virginia. It's going to give Air Force a man-up advantage here, and that's Scott Bauer, the defenseman, freshman from Dallas, Texas, has 11 ground balls entering today for Virginia. He's ranked number 7 at his position as a high school recruit. And so not just the man-up, but a man-up with one of Virginia's best defensemen on the sideline. Air Force going to look to extract some measure of scoring here in the beginning of the third quarter. Brandon Don attempted to pass there, and it looked more like a shot as Grandolfo was unable to catch that one. It sailed right above him. Alex Rhodes steps out of the cage for a moment to set up the clear for Virginia. They're able to get across. Virginia using more of the clock now, a comfortable 6-point lead heading in to the under 9 period of the third quarter pretty soon here, and they're willing to take more of this shot clock down before they really go for some earnest offensive attack here against the Falcons. Now 25 to shoot. Virginia moving inside, try to get an attempt. Kraus shot, goal Virginia. Michael Kraus. Once again, the senior proves not only his leadership abilities, but his offensive firepower as well. Michael Kraus puts Virginia in double digits on the scoreboard, 10-3 in favor of the Cavaliers.
Cavalier goal scored by number 2, Michael Kraus. Assisted
Making his
by Virginia
13th goal of the season for Michael Kraus.
Virginia 10, Air Force 3.
And his second of the day, he joins Garneau and Cormier for Virginia, having scored 2 goals. On the other side, Lervik for Air Force is the one with the 2 goals in his tally. So offensive explosion here for Virginia has continued into the third quarter. A couple of goals in the first half of the period propel Virginia forward as Petey LaSala controls the faceoff. Chris Murrell had the ball there on the clear, one of the unsung heroes of this Virginia team, the midfielder, redshirt sophomore from West Hampton Beach, New York. 7 ground balls entering today for Murrell, who's been in the middle of a lot of the plays we've seen today, even if he hasn't been the one with the ball all the time. Matt Moore's going to drive inside. Shot saved by Air Force. Strong outside shot by Moore, and Virginia was forced throughout the past couple of weeks due to the fact that opposing coaches figured out that the zone was the way to combat this Virginia offense. And so what they did was they started playing zone more often, of course. And Virginia was forced to take these outside shots as an interception of the ball there by Jeff Connor, a goal scorer today. Virginia was forced to take more outside shots and were less successful hitting on them, obviously, because of distance reasons. Air Force has played more of a man concept today, and Virginia able to get inside a couple times. Cormier working hard to get past his defender. Shot rifled over the cage there by Laviano from distance. Michael Kraus going to try to get back inside. Shot over for Laviano, attempted to set him up for the lay-in, much like in the first half, but had two defenders on him, riding him past the cage. Under 20 to shoot now for the Cavaliers. And a shot taken, and Matt Moore gets himself in the scoring column today. The senior stakes his claim to a goal for Virginia as they move up to 11 now. It's been a lot of freshmen today for Virginia with the exception of Michael Kraus, but Matt Moore, junior from Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, gets it done for Virginia. Making his 11th goal of the season. He also has 12 assists. An unselfish player is Matt Moore, an attackman. He was number 8 in the nation last season with 89 points on the year. And it is those assists that really make him such a versatile attackman as well. Willing to aid in all kinds of offensive maneuvers, inside, outside, whatever Virginia needs him to do, this junior is able to do it. And he gets himself in the scoring column today for the Cavaliers. Now, Bill Wilson on the other side, coach at Air Force, talking to his team now about what they can potentially do to work their way back into this thing, or at the very least contain some of the offensive firepower that Virginia has shown so far. And Coach Wilson's in his second season with Air Force, but served a season as the interim head coach in 2018 for the Falcons. As mentioned in the first half, a former Ivy League coach joins Lars Tiffany of Virginia in that respect as well. He was the coach at Dartmouth College in the mid-2000s. Air Force got a couple of critical wins against Duke and Utah so far this year. And regardless of how this thing turns out for the Falcons, certainly a great job for them on the season. We got SoCon play coming up, so the season really has just begun. We're only through 1 month of major action in lacrosse here around the nation, and certainly in conference play, Air Force looking to make a serious dent this season as one of the SoCon's best. Back to the face-off now for both of these teams as Air Force attempts to answer some of this explosion in Virginia scoring, which has occurred really over the past quarter and a half, starting with Laviano in the beginning of the second, and now Petey LaSala straight down, and you can see Matt Moore just sort of sigh right there as a pass attempt that was really promising sort of slid right over him, and Petey LaSala, fresh with the energy of the face-off, unable to get that pass on target. Now Braden Host and Air Force looking to bring it out. Virginia settles into strong man defense again. Plenty of time to shoot if you're the Falcons, though, trying to set up right concept to get inside and make an attempt on Alex Rode, who's been quite the goalkeeping presence for Virginia so far. Air Force moving in, and a shot taken off the stick of Rode. It was Brendan Krause, the midfielder from Maryland, on that one. Alex Rode able to collect, though, and get his stick in front of it before it went in. Here's Brendan Krause again. And lays it in, an attempted shot, and then Rode just puts his stick in front of it, able to collect for Virginia. So another saving kind of play from Alex Rode there to prevent scoring, and he has really emerged in the second half so far as what is stopping some actually great drawn-up concepts by Air Force, try to work their way inside against a strong Virginia defense. Rhoda Jr. also from Maryland. 12 goals against average heading into today and 55 saves on the year. He really emerged in the middle of last season for Virginia as the goalkeeping answer for these Cavaliers en route to their national championship, and has continued to show that this season. Back on the offensive end, a pass attempted from Michael Kraus. Too low to collect, and the crowd at Klockner Stadium felt that that was a foul. The pushing of Matt Moore there. Possession will remain with Virginia. Michael Biankowski takes a shot, and it's over the cage there. Biankowski, a scorer in the first half. That time, couldn't get it on target. Biankowski scored his first of his career in the first game of the season for Virginia against Loyola, as now Dox Aiken is hounded by a couple of Air Force midfielders, and now he has given up the ball. It's a turnover and into the hands of Lervik. One-on-two situation, and the shot is over the cage from Air Force. A promising attempt there for the Falcons. Dissolves in just a matter of seconds, it seemed. It's Christian Kuhn, the attack from Babylon, New York, was the one who took the shot for Air Force, and make a comeback here with just over 18 minutes to go. Air Force's ability to beat VMI and High Point and other SoCon opponents is going to be immeasurably enriched by this experience against the number 6 team in the nation. Trying to find the inside position is Air Force. Looking for a clean look. Virginia defenseman just mobbing to the ball here as a shot skipped over on the ground. That was Trey Lervik again. He scored 2 of the 3 goals for Air Force on the day. That shot just rolled past the goal. Now another attempt comes inside. It very nearly made its way in. That was Christian Kuhn again. Now Lervik with the ball has an opportunity to shoot there. Took an attempted to look like a backward shot, and it misses past the right pipe. And Trey Lervik has been what has held the Falcons together here today. It kept them competitive through the first half, and The attempt there was a little acrobatic. It was unclear whether that was because of defensemen for Virginia or due to the one-on-one situation, but tough break for the Falcons there in the attempt for Lervik as now Virginia sets up. Cavaliers working the far side of the field. Now Matt Moore makes a move, heads inside, takes a shot, and there it is again. Virginia, through the stick of Matt Moore, gets their second straight goal. So Matt Moore extending his run of scoring now to 2 in a row. It's a great move past the defenseman, and then a low shot gets past Braden Host, making it 12-3 Virginia. Just under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. And the older leadership of this team, despite some great play by the freshmen, has also shown itself today, which shows you how versatile Virginia is and how many guys they really have on this roster that can make an offensive difference. You got Cormier, Biankowski, and Garno on the younger side, but then the junior and Matt Moore and the senior and Michael Krause have shown themselves today to very much still be a part of the offense here, and a critical part of it is now Virginia controls off the face-off and the ground ball and will take yet another attempt as they sort of slow things down here, likely under Coach Tiffany. Trying to take the clock down and use all of the clearing time they have to close this one out against Air Force. Some strong checking on Biankowski there by one of 3 brothers on the Air Force team, the Peen brothers. Griffin Peen was the one there doing the checking on Biankowski. You also have Gavin Peen, the midfielder, and Quincy Peen, the midfielder as well, actually, who all play together on this Air Force team and are some of the great contributors to it. Dox Aiken, shot save there, down low by Host. Now Air Force, first attempt in a couple minutes since that tough take by Lervik to trying to get another shot registered before the end of the third quarter here in Charlottesville. Quick substitutions going on for the Falcons. Substitutions are unlimited in lacrosse. You run personnel on and off as much as you'd like. Just bearing in mind the shot clock, which ticks down now under 40 seconds. Air Force moves inside. Shot taken, saved by Rode. Another attempt by Brendan Krause there for the Falcons. Taking quite a few shots, unable to connect so far, but certainly will keep up those attempts in the fourth quarter. Now Matt Moore goes for 3 and a flag thrown as that shot absolutely screamed past the right pipe of the Virginia cage there. New personnel going to come on for Air Force as we take some time for our officials to relay the call. And we're going to get a time penalty served here. The Air Force Falcons will be a man down in this situation. Tenths of a second currently on the game clock for the third quarter. So likely this man-up situation is going to play itself out far more in the fourth than it will in the third. Gianni Orlando is the man in the penalty box for the Falcons. And the whistle blown and the horn sounds. That'll conclude the third quarter here from Charlottesville, Virginia. Virginia pouring it on even further. 4 goals in the third quarter to extend their lead to 12-3. Virginia now looking to take that commanding presence into the fourth quarter to conclude the game and notch their first truly convincing win of 2020. More from Charlottesville after this. for the Cavaliers has been one of the essential pieces for this current lead, 12-3 over Air Force, that they have notched in Charlottesville through 3 quarters. Rode, you see here, saving with his stick, saving in the net of his stick in all forms, able to get in front of balls and prevent Air Force from scoring thus far in this contest. Alex Rode emerged last season as one of the critical pieces for Virginia in their defensive equation and has been a stalwart behind the cage there as Air Force able to defend a shot by Virginia. Braden Host, the other goalkeeper, notching yet another save there. So Rode, one of the pieces that will carry this Virginia team forward as they look forward to some tough matchups in the ACC, some Ivy League road trips. That's Brown next week for Virginia, former home of Coach Lars Tiffany, and they'll be in Providence. Matt Moore takes a shot, flies over the top of the cage there for Virginia. Virginia's road trip will also include Notre Dame, as well as Maryland. So some critical matchups for Virginia to extend their campaign into plus territory from the wins perspective. As a shot taken there, and Peyton Cormier give him a hat trick on his birthday for Virginia. What better present could you ask for the freshman from Ontario than 3 goals on this March 1st for him, which is a special day in many ways, both for his birth and for his lacrosse prowess. Straight shot from distance, rifles right through, and Peyton Cormier, with his 12th goal of the season, 3 goals and 2 assists today, has just had a game that will register throughout the season statistics as one of the best for him, certainly. And the sky's the limit for that young freshman this year. A redshirt freshman who sat out the season last year after an injury, but is now back in form and certainly back in scoring ways for the Cavaliers. The Air Force playing a little keep away now as they're able to get possession. That Virginia ride, always a tough thing, and there it shows itself as possession finally lost. Ball still on the ground, collected by Jared Connors for Virginia. Some strong checking. Trey Lervick on John Fox there. Both teams make their personnel adjustments. Jeff Connor has it for Virginia, goal scorer today. And Kraus comes around, takes a shot, it bounces just short of the goal. Kraus, another strong attempt, looking for his 3rd of the day potentially here. Long pass for Air Force finally finds its way into the hands of Quincy Peen. As I say that, a couple of ground balls later, Air Force able to almost collect possession, and now Virginia on its own. Laviano takes a shot, saved by Host. Complete confusion there for both teams as Checking leads the ball on the ground for quite a few moments. Both teams trying to get it, and Laviano almost had another one today as well for him. Braden Host able to collect for Air Force. It's been one of the things keeping this team together so far throughout the season has been Braden Host's abilities in the cage, his ability to save quite a few shots, which would have otherwise turned games for the Falcons and keep them in the win column for Air Force. Most notably, of course, the win against Duke. Also, Utah, one of the other teams out west that really competes in the NCAA picture, is the Utes. And now Virginia able to clear in time, just barely sets up an offense. Virginia bringing Jack Simmons in, trying to work in some new personnel here as we get into the fourth quarter. Here goes Michael Bienkowski trying to make a move on Quincy Peen. Takes a shot, and it's just past the right pipe there. Bienkowski was looking for his second of the day there as Matt Moore then recollects behind the cage. Bienkowski another shot, and again rifles just shy of the pipe. The distance shooting skills for Bienkowski will come with time, certainly. Already has a goal today for Virginia. Got his first career goal against Loyola. As now a flag has been thrown and Matt Moore appeared to fall to the ground for a moment there. He is now back up. Ian Laviano, his teammate, helping him up there. The pass was errant to Bienkowski, potentially because he was in the act of falling while passing the ball.
Number 44, Vince Lombardi.
And the flag assessed on Vince Lombardi of Air Force. And in my preparation for the broadcast this week, I saw the name Vince Lombardi on the Air Force roster and said, no way does Vince Lombardi have a grandson playing lacrosse at the Air Force Academy. It turns out no relation to the NFL great Vince Lombardi, but certainly great in his own right at Air Force as a lacrosse player. He'll be serving a minute penalty, so Virginia, you've got a man up here. Connor takes a shot. Host able to just get enough of his body on it to deflect it. Lombardi 6 ground balls on the season for Air Force. This man up will undoubtedly be an opportunity for Virginia to take further lead as Dox Aiken tried to get a shot in there. And all these Cavaliers seem to be missing off the right pipe now as they attempt to extend this lead. Dox Aiken again, and he connects. The all-time leading scorer from the Virginia midfield gets it done for the Cavaliers and puts another one on the board. Aiken been shooting from distance all season, and that shot from distance slid right into the lower part of the goal there, left corner, and he gets it done for Virginia. Dox Aiken, senior from Villanova, Pennsylvania. He's committed to play football at Villanova in the fall, closing out his lacrosse career here in Charlottesville in style. That will be his 7th goal of the season. 8 ground balls heading into today as well for Aiken, so does it on both sides as an essential centerpiece to the midfield operation here for Virginia. So the penalty's going to lead to a 1-minute time in the box, and yet another opportunity for a man up.
Number 54 for Air Force, Doc Schlahetka, penalized for a slash.
One of several slash penalties assessed today was that one. Assessed to Air Force for a minute time. Get another man up for Virginia. Ian Laviano cruising in. Shoots it right into the stick of Braden Host. And a strong check, knocked the lacrosse stick right out of his hand, did Michael Kraus from behind. Real physicality shown there by the attackman. His lacrosse stick clearly just fell to the ground the minute it was contacted. More sound than has been heard on any check today, certainly. From up here in the press box, Christian Marshall was the one checked by Michael Kraus. Virginia trying to set something up here. And a shot taken, Michael Kraus, there he is on the other end. Set it up himself with the check of Christian Marshall, and then puts it in the net himself as well. Virginia up 15-3. And he collects his 14th goal of the season and becomes the second Cavalier today with a hat trick. 3 goals on the day for Michael Kraus. And what a day it has been for the team captain. 131 goals in his career now. And possession awarded to Air Force for some misconduct on the face-off there. Peter LaSala, the normal face-off man for Virginia, was not on the X on that one. Cavaliers, again, mixing personnel. They bring in new face-off man. And a lot of new defensemen and attackmen as well to end this thing with 8 minutes to go, 8.5 now. Trey Lervick's not done yet, making a lot of moves back there for Air Force. Scored 2 on the day and just muscled back, and now the ball knocked out of his stick as well. Strong defense for Virginia has been the theme of the day. It was Grayson Soliday there on that check, which popped the ball loose. Trey Lervick gonna run back to the other side of the field now as Virginia sets up yet again. Enthusiastic crowd out here in Klockner Stadium today, urging on the new faces we see out here for Virginia. Jackson Appelt out there currently has the ball. Just passed it over to Cormier, but he's out there, the junior from New Canaan, Connecticut, getting some of his first action of the year. He missed all of last season with an injury similar to Cormier. And at this point, up 12-7 to go in the game. Virginia's going to likely incorporate quite a few new attackmen and midfielders into this offensive set. Give them an opportunity to do more. As now the ball on the ground. It's going to be collected again by Ryan Lamb. Shot clock, though, was due to expire anyway. He just heaves it down, and Air Force will get possession back. Air Force also set to take in some action next Sunday, as Virginia is as well. Some complaints over the call here in Klockner due to the fact that Air Force was awarded possession, but there for the save was the man brought into goal by the Cavaliers now, as Alex Rhodes' day appears to be done out here. That man is Miles Thompson, the sophomore from Princeton, New Jersey. Thompson getting some of his first extended action as well. Virginia plays a tough schedule. They don't play it easy, even as defending champs, and Rhodes has been the max stop there for them for much of the season, but now Miles Thompson able to get some action in. He's a transfer from the Ivy League as well, University of Pennsylvania, one of the top-ranked institutions in the lacrosse poll as well. Ian Laviano check there and some tough stick finding before Air Force able to come away. Another heave straight downfield for Air Force. Trey Lervick, as clearly Bill Wilson encouraging his players to treat this as an instructional opportunity for themselves. Keep heaving the ball downfield, keep trying to set up on offense. Because while a 12-goal deficit in 5 minutes may be too much, there are further games on this season and further games in the careers of what is a young and aspirational group here for the Falcons. And they move inside here. Thompson able to get a save. Bats the ball away, and now it's back with Virginia. Air Force, after some time out here in Virginia, going to get to head back to Colorado Springs, Colorado next week. Next Sunday, they take on Canisius College at 2 Eastern, 12 Mountain Time. This before they head into the main stretch of the SoCon season. Crowd at Clocker cheering on once again. A new face here, just had the ball for Virginia, and that was Griffin Harris, junior from South Hamilton, Massachusetts. And now a shot going to be taken there by Ian Laviano. Deflected off a couple of Air Force defensemen and finally recollected once again by the Falcons. Here goes one of the Peen brothers down the field. It's a shot that bounces just wide of the goal there. It was on target out of his stick and then unable to get it on frame. One of those 3 Peen brothers we told you about earlier in the show. Now a timeout called by Lars Tiffany. That was Griffin Peen there for Air Force. So Virginia looking ahead to an ACC schedule. Still got a couple of more non-conference matchups. Mentioned game in Providence at Lars Tiffany's former home of Brown University, which will be televised on ESPN+, streamable via the Watch ESPN app at 12 p.m. Eastern a week from today. Virginia, of course, then moves on to some other road matches before joining us back here in Charlottesville on ACC Network Extra against Richmond. That'll be 3 weeks from now until we get to see you again. But we will be excited to bring that one back to you here on ACC Network Extra from Charlottesville. In terms of Virginia itself, the team now notches a critical win for them, not just because it's a win in the column. They've had 3 wins so far this season. They're defending champs. They're one of the most talented rosters in the country. The nation knows they're good. Media knows they're good. And these shots that you're seeing on screen right now prove that to you, as Michael Krause and his hat-trick day have shown Virginia's prowess this season. But what was critical about today for Virginia was to win in style, to win in control, to be up 12 against a team that's very good. Air Force, if you haven't watched Air Force lacrosse yet this season, a 15-3 result as it stands right now against the defending national champions is nothing to be ashamed of a team that has an ACC win, have a winning record, and it really is one of the more promising teams in the nation. They received votes in the poll this week. They've been ranked in previous weeks. So Virginia, much needed vote of confidence from this game. After some close matchups, Air Force lays it in as finally Brandon Dodd shows you his stuff today. He was really held in by Kyle Koloji for most of the game. But Brandon Dodd is one of the great prospects for Air Force. His first game of his collegiate career was against Duke, and he went off in that game. One of the great leaders of the team in that win, 14-13 over Duke. That'll be his 7th goal of the season to join 11 assists and 8 ground balls on the season. 2-time All-American in high school, was ready to play from day one for Bill Wilson, and is going to be one of those players we're going to watch in lacrosse going forward as Air Force matures as a team and as he matures as an athlete. Air Force controlling the face-off as well here. They'll get another opportunity as the clock ticks under 3 minutes to go here in Charlottesville. Air Force now looking to get a 5th goal in, and that is exactly what they do. The Air Force Academy tightens the deficit to 10 here in Charlottesville, and an excellent goal it was by Gianni Orlando. Shot from distance while running, and yet he controls it, able to lay it straight into the bottom of the cage. And Gianni Orlando, the junior midfielder from Castle Rock, Colorado, adds his 2nd goal of the year and extends an illustrious career as well. 9 goals last season, a hat trick in 1 appearance for Orlando. Yet another new face-off man in the X for Virginia, and one for Air Force as well. Dylan Frankhauser taking it for the Falcons. There's Luke Brugel, senior from Great Falls, Virginia, for the Cavaliers there. And that's an opportunity that both of these teams have in a result like this, an ability for trying out some new players and new schemes here in the last couple minutes as we wind this thing down here in Klockner Stadium. Virginia moving inside. Shot was thought about, but then ball was laid off. Now it's on the ground entirely as Air Force is going to be able to come away with it. Ground ball to turn the ball over there was an essential thing for Air Force as they look to get another offensive possession in before this one ends. Ground ball was the work of Quentin Carlisle, defenseman from Indianapolis. So as it stands for the moment, and as it is likely to stand in 1 minute and 20 seconds, this will be Virginia's 151st all-time win in this building. Inaugurated for lacrosse purposes in the spring of 1993. Coach Tiffany's winning percentage will also continue its illustrious rise. Strong day for Virginia from the ground balls perspective as well. They've led the nation in ground balls 6 of the past 11 seasons. It's truly a remarkable statistic. And they do so again so far this year. And that's the critical thing about Virginia. It's not all offensive and it's not all goal scoring. There are aspects of their game that are less obvious on highlight reels, but are really important to the reason they're so competitive. And ground balls are one of those. Flag now thrown emphatically by the official on the near side after a strong check there by Griffin Peen. Yet another check again. Virginia going to retain possession until that, and now we'll get the call from the official. And the 1-minute penalty is going to put Air Force, barring a goal, a man down for the remainder of the match.
56 for Air Force.
Foul was on Mitch Gordon, the senior attackman for Virginia. That is to say the foul was committed upon him. The foul itself assessed, the penalty assessed to Griffin Peen. So Virginia to wind out the clock here on one of their signature wins on the season. A win over a receiving votes team, a win over one of the great teams in collegiate lacrosse in Air Force. Virginia, a commanding victory here in Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia. An essential win for a program looking for the confidence it needs to take the show on the road. The defending national champions tour of victory continues in Providence, Rhode Island, next week on ESPN Plus at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Virginia notching an essential win. Air Force, an essential lesson for them and a lot of their young players playing such an illustrious team as the Cavaliers. And they will look to continue their road of a strong season so far as well. Lars, Tiffany, and the team happy for this victory. The supporters here in Charlottesville happy for it as well. And this team will be one to watch as the season continues. That will do it for us, for our outstanding crew here in Klockner Stadium. I'm Neil LeCan saying so long from Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, where Virginia wins it 15-5 over the Air Force Falcons. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on the ACC network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
On Saturday, March 28th, 1 p.m. Secure your seats and pay less online.